episode 2 kind of actually feels like the beginning of the series, right? Episode 1, I rated it so highly, I gave it a 9, but this time I've went with a 6.5. That's because episode 1, it could stand alone as a short film or something like that, because it was purely perfect for me as an intro. We knew about House of the Dragon, what it is. It ended in a way where you could wrap up the show. There was drama, there was a lot of twists and turns, things that we didn't expect, and we got to know what House of the Dragon is about and the world that they live in, the rules, the tradition, everything, right? It was perfectly set up. Now we are stabilizing and we can see the direction that the show is trying to go. So I'll touch on the 3 major points for this video. It is abundantly clear that the king now needs to remarry. Yes, we know he just lost his wife 6 months ago, and now the show is actually about finding him a wife. The second episode, that is. Secondly, we will talk about Daemon's actions. We discussed him and we basically titled him the jealous brother in episode 1 review, and he sent a huge letter of intent to his brother the king during this episode. And lastly, we want to talk about the impending war in the Stepstones. That is obviously something that looks like it's coming, because clearly the crab feeder is becoming a problem in the triarchy. Right, let's get into it. And first up is Viserys' wife of choice. The king has decided to take the hand of Alicent Hightower as his next wife. Alicent Hightower, his own daughter's best friend. Right? Alicent Hightower is a beautiful woman, of course. She's a young lady, so the chances of him producing an heir with her will be extremely high. She's well-mannered, she's well-studied, she is perfect for the queen role in every respect. Otto Hightower, we're so sorry, we were not familiar with your game. He's basically been playing Littlefinger's role in this series so far, and he has been sending his own daughter to comfort the king since the passing of his wife for 6 months. So Alicent has been secretly visiting the king. They've bonded. She knows that he loves his histories and his books and his models. So they've actually sort of built a little bit of not just a friendship, but a little bit of a bond. He was also uncomfortable with the option of marrying Lyanna, who we know is only 12 years old. That was the perfect match. So this is the perfect match because this is the daughter of Corlys Velaryon and the queen that never was, Rhaenys, right? The question here is whether Viserys has made a mistake. It was very clear that the best option was to marry into this family. They are the richest family in the land, the most powerful. They control the ports. He is Corlys Velaryon, the master of ships at his council, at the king's council. So it is a perfect way to seal the deal and to strengthen his position as king. Never mind the fact that Rhaenys was not selected as queen in his stead. So this would have in a way repaired their relationship, because their kid, this is Lyanna and King Viserys, would then come to be king one day, and that basically fixes everything. So not choosing this looks to be a mistake, because now he has made an enemy of this house, and it's very clear because at the end Velaryon is very angry at this and then hits out his own brother Daemon, who we now see has in a way turned against his brother. Obviously he's still mad because he was banished and he was not named heir, because that was Rhaenyra, so he is mad. So this is basically the Velaryon's revenge, and it looks like they're planning against the king, and it will involve something to do with the Stepstones, the upcoming war at the Stepstones. My second point is that Daemon wants to be king. It's very clear that he has literally made himself somewhat of an enemy of the crown, because after his banishment, or he was sent to go to his wife in the Vale, he didn't go to that. He went to Dragonstone. That's the house of the Targaryens. So that's basically the land of the king himself. He rules there. So he has taken over that and went with his army of the City Watch with him and stole a dragon egg when he left. He then sends a letter telling the king, inviting him to his upcoming wedding with his so-called whore, as they refer to the woman, and he also states that she is pregnant. So basically he would be fathering what they call a bastard, but he wants to marry the lady, and he has good intentions for this lady, who is of course not of noble birth, but he's trying to change that for her, and he's taking what they call a second wife, and he wants to give him or his upcoming child a dragon egg, which is all in accordance with the rule or the traditions of the Targaryens. So necessarily he's not stepping out of line. The problem is he takes the egg that was actually meant for the son that just passed away from the king, which makes Rhaenyra angry, which she becomes involved, and against her father's wishes flies out to Dragonstone to the confrontation between Otto Hightower, the Hand, and Daemon, which would have definitely led to bloodshed because Daemon was intent on killing them, especially when he threatened them with his dragon Caraxes. But because Rhaenyra arrived with her dragon, she was able to calm the situation down, retrieve the egg, and literally told Daemon to his face that if you want to be heir, you'll have to kill me. That's the only way you'll be heir, because now I've been actually named by the king and people have bowed down to me and accepted me as the new queen. So if he wants to be king so badly, the only way to get that is to kill Rhaenyra. And she said, kill me now and get over with it. And then he just let it go and gave the egg. Interesting meeting. Of course, this also leads to why Daemon is angry and now is actually plotting against the king. And that's why he met up with Corlys Velaryon to make the deal that maybe he will take care of whatever's going on in the Stepstones. And we know in the Stepstones, there is someone who is now being called the crab feeder, and he's just terrorizing the seas. And these are the main shipping ports, which are controlled by the House Velaryon. And they're losing lots of money based on whatever's happening to those shipping lanes. So House Velaryon needs this to be stopped. The king does not want a full-out confrontation because he wants his land to be full of peace, and they're scared of going against the free cities. And we know that Crab Feeder might be sponsored by the free cities, and it's been said that the free cities are dangerous, that in all of the history of the world, the Westeros has not ever went into war with those free cities because it will be chaotic economically. I think the king needs an amicable solution. Velaryon doesn't think that it's good, and it's making them look weak, and therefore he's enlisted the help of Daemon. And we know that the crab feeder is named the crab feeder because somehow he crucifies his enemies and his victims at sea and leaves them alive for the crabs to eat. So interesting episode. For me, not my favorite. I think it's, like I said, it now feels like the official start of the series. A little bit slow, but it's setting out the tone, and it's setting out the scene of what's about to happen for the rest of the season. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for the next one. Bye-bye.